ready to go, and there it is. Do you know? I think I'm on the restaurant diet,
Oh,
unknowingly. He's an entrepreneur. What is this, Robin? A sommelier? I don't know what that is.
sommelier. He's a wine expert.
Oh, that's what that means. So I know nothing about wine. He's an international healthy lifestyle authority, a motivational speaker, a travel writer, and he's got a book called The Restaurant Diet: How to Eat Out Every Night and Still Lose Weight. Okay, Fred Bollaci. Good morning, Fred. How are you?
Good morning, Larry and Robin. I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm going out to eat tonight.
Me too. Me too.
What should I look for? Where are you, first of all? Where are you calling from?
I'm actually in Naples, Florida today.
Oh, Naples.
Nice.
Not too far away. I have a good friend who lives in Naples.
My uncle lives there too.
There you go.
That's beautiful.
We got connections. So tell
I'll tell you where to eat when you come.
do you know when you go to a place? I don't know. I'm not really good with what is fancy and what is not fancy. But if I go to like a restaurant in, what is that, the Swan Hotel in Disney?
Yes.
That to me is fancy, And I never know what to pick. Everything looks good. Everything smells good, right? But I always figure it's probably
Absolutely.
all high calorie stuff.
And I'm sure it is, but not necessarily.
Okay, so can the book help me? Like if I
Look for things with
there's a delay.
sauce on the side, stuff like that.
Fred, I want to apologize. There's a delay, obviously, when you say something and we say something, and you might not have detected that.
I
But,
hear that. Yeah.
but I wanted to apologize because I'm not intentionally talking over you. So tell me about the book. Will the book help me when I go to McDonald's, or should I wait and hold on to it for the bigger, fancier restaurants?
I mean, I'm not a big fan of fast food for a lot of reasons. I mean, there are times where a fast food meal is better than not having anything, such as if you're in a hurry running through an airport, something like that, or
Right.
traveling road trip where there's absolutely nothing else available. That you can make a healthy choice or healthy choices in any kind of restaurant. It's better to eat something and keep yourself satisfied from being too hungry than completely skip a meal just because you're concerned that you're going to blow your budget at a fast food place. I mean, there are things that you could eat. I look at dining at any kind of restaurant as like you're fueling a furnace. So you never want it to run out of fuel. So, I mean, start the day with something for breakfast, have something for lunch. I mean, never wait to the point of being really, really hungry, starving, because that's when people tend to overeat the most. Then have
That's
something
me.
for dinner,
Yeah.
have healthy snacks during the day.
And what's really wonderful about reading your book, it is your story. You were overweight and you were told by your doctor that you could die. So you actually lived what you're talking about, and there's where all the respect comes in.
Well, I appreciate that, absolutely. And I've reached the point of being over 300 pounds for several years. I struggled with my weight since childhood and tried many different diets, all which felt like some form of punishment that I could not possibly do forever. So even if I managed to lose weight, and I'd lost weight before, I mean, as much as 50 pounds, I mean, nothing like what I did here, but the weight always came back because what was I going to do when the diet was done? I wasn't going to keep eating that way forever. I mean, most diets tell you to stay out of restaurants and eat things that are bland and boring. You mentioned that I'm a sommelier. I enjoy drinking wine, and I know many people do, and most diets that I tried do not allow wine or severely restrict things like wine or alcohol. And, I mean, they are calories, but in moderation can be enjoyed and can be part of a diet and lasting lifestyle. But the restaurant diet is all about something permanent and totally doable.
So is there a rule of thumb? Like, do you just know right offhand, don't do anything that says the word fried? I mean, what kind of rules can we use to make it a little bit easier for us to pick what's right and what we shouldn't have?
Well, for phase one, which is the strictest phase, the goal really is to jumpstart your body and really send a message after, I mean, in my case, years of overeating and eating whatever I wanted. I mean, often the wrong foods are just really, more than anything else, too much quantity. It's really to send a message that things are going to change. So I almost eliminated carbs, fried foods completely in phase one, sugar, like sweets, desserts, things like that. And I focused on lean proteins, things like steak, poultry, various types of seafood. I mean, I could enjoy lobster, I could enjoy shrimp, seafood like salmon, sole, halibut, grouper. I mean, a great variety of things. Lamb, veal. I enjoyed beautiful salads, lots of fresh vegetables, fruit. I made my weight loss a quest for the best, that it was really all about quality over quantity. So I found many great things at wonderful restaurants, whether they were 4 or 5 star places or just local neighborhood mom and pops or nationwide chains. Lots of great options.
Do you avoid temptation? I'm just curious about this because I go to a restaurant and I say, okay, I'm going to try to eat smart, and they'll bring out this beautiful basket of bread, and I say, oh my gosh, you can't.
That's the best part.
I have a weakness for like good bread, for freshly baked bread or whatever.
Most of us do.
So A, do you eat it, or B, do you tell them don't even bring it out, or do you let them bring it out for the sake of other people at the table? Because you hate to say, look, I'm on a diet, I don't want to see it.
Exactly. I mean, if you're dining alone in phase one, I would advocate asking them in the beginning not to bring it. Part of the restaurant diet strategy is letting the staff know what you're doing. So if you're dining by yourself or even with other diners, other friends, family, colleagues, whatever, let other people know what you're doing. So if they want to have bread and you don't, that they don't even pass it to you. I mean, there's a lot of people. I mean, I grew up in a family, Italian-American family with great cooks, and that was a passion. Yeah. And grandparents, aunts, uncles, everything. I mean, eat. I mean, Sunday dinner was like Thanksgiving. It was amazing. And God forbid you should offend your grandmother or your aunt or somebody like that who spent hours putting together this beautiful dinner with, I'm not finishing, not cleaning your plate. So that was where I was from. So I had to change that perception. I had to change my relationship with food and make food my friend again, that I could enjoy food and not have to feel like I had to clean my plate and eat everything and please everybody else and do what they were doing.
Do you count calories at all?
I do. It's the good news and the bad news, but I recommend that everybody who's looking to lose weight talk to their doctor, work perhaps with a nutritionist, at least some professional to establish some sort of guideline as far as what's a reasonable intake given your current weight, your desire to lose, and your activity level. Not counting calories, which I know some diets I've tried recommend, like if you could eat anything from column A and B and, limit column C and avoid column D. I don't recommend that. I recommend counting. I liken counting calories to a budget and also to balancing a checkbook. Basically, you have a budget and you know how much the budget is and you know how much you're consuming, you know how much you have left. To not count calories, in my book, especially for someone who's had a history of overeating, would be like somebody with a history of financial problems all of a sudden having some money and writing checks and without any idea of what's really in the bank.
That's I love that. I love that metaphor.
And you lost 150 pounds, and yet you still were able to maintain the lifestyle that you have.
My lifestyle involved eating out 4 to 5 nights a week and quite a few times a week for meals such as breakfast and lunch. I'm an attorney and a businessman, and I travel a lot. And I love to cook when I'm home. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do love to cook. But just as a matter of necessity, convenience, as well as being social with friends, family, and colleagues, eating out was and still is to this day a very important part of my life. Plus, I enjoy the whole restaurant experience. I mean, great chefs inspire me, whether they're Michelin star chefs or mom and pops. I mean, who whose secret ingredient is love. I get inspired by great food, and I enjoy the restaurant experience, things like the ambiance, the music, the service, the camaraderie, meeting other people. It's something that you just don't get on a typical diet, sitting at home feeling deprived like you're in detention.
I want to bring up the name Dick Smothers, not because he's famous, but because of what he wrote. And everybody probably knows who Dick Smothers is. He wrote the foreword to the book, and he writes this. He says, the old Fred never really had a meaningful life. Due to his unhealthy lifestyle and eating habits, it looked like he was going to have a short, unhappy existence at best. Wow. Is that true? And that's pretty insightful that somebody aside from yourself would even pick up on that.
Dick Smothers is a very good friend of me and my family, and he's known me for quite a long time and knew me, of course, with family dinners and going out to restaurants together back when I ate whatever I wanted. I mean, he was my friend, and he wasn't going to say anything then. I mean, he observed me,
right.
and
yeah.
Through the process of losing the weight, he dined out with me a couple of times and saw how I was working through the restaurant diet. And he was amazed and actually asked me to order and walk him through it.
Wow.
And we've remained friends. And, of course, we talked a lot about my experience. And, I mean, he had to know me very well to write what he wrote. And he knew that a lot of my issues with food came down to emotional and compulsive overeating. I mean, I knew what good food was. It's like I knew what to do. It's just I had to deal with the emotional component in order to overcome that propensity to overeat and find a happy existence. Like most of my overeating and my overweight condition had to do with emotional stuff. Went back to childhood. I mean, using food to cope with things like divorce or anxiety. You have a bad day, and people go out and they eat or drink too much. I mean, it's a common problem and something that I had to learn to deal with. And he watched me work through it, and it's an honor to have somebody like Dick as a friend and that he was willing to write. I'm really touched.
A very sweet thing to say. Fred, I am going to say that I think it's probably something courageous for you to be able to speak so candidly about something you went through with such honesty. But on the good side of that, you are helping people who probably have exactly the same experience right now, and you're giving them hope, and you're giving them a roadmap to be where you are, so they don't have to be where they are, which is where you used to be. Did that make sense? I have a copy of the restaurant.
Exactly.
I have a copy of the book here. If you want it, the one I have, call me. Fred Bollaci is who you look up on Amazon, where I did find the book also. Do you have a website you want to tell us about before we say goodbye?
Absolutely. Please follow me at www.fredbollaci, my name, enterprises.com. It's my ongoing story, the restaurant diet in action almost 8 years later. New places to eat, exciting destinations, new chefs, great recipes. So I'd love you to come check it out.
Awesome. And if you ever have a chance, include a restaurant from Ocala. That would be cool. In the next
I would
edition.
definitely.
Fred, thank you.
Absolutely. Well, it's a pleasure.
Thank you for being on the show with us, and congratulations on your success. We will take a break. We'll be right back.
The NFL alumni is sponsoring a Clays for Kids, a sporting event to benefit the Marion County Champions for Champions. The event will take place at the Robinson Ranch in Ingles, Florida
on Saturday, April 7th.
Call 427-0950 for detailed information. The NFL alumni will provide gift bags, breakfast, lunch, prizes, and drawings throughout the day. Call 427-0950 for detailed information on the Clay for Kids sporting event hosted by the NFL alumni.
It's time for the Dunellen Farm Days Antique Tractor and Equipment Show, February 9th.